Sarvadharma Sthapakatvam Sarvadharma Swarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishna te namaha. O establisher of all the faiths, embodiment of all the religions, the greatest teacher among all the teachers, O Sri Ramakrishna, my salutations to you. Namaste, Pranam. Sri Ramakrishna, having come to his beloved disciple Surendra's house to attend the Annapurna Puja, the worship of Mother Annapurna. And the mother in the form of that image is beautifully decorated with the hibiscus flowers, garlanded. And Sri Ramakrishna comes there, offers his salutations, does pranam to the Mother Annapurna, and then takes his seat in the outer courtyard where Surendra has made arrangement for Sri Ramakrishna to sit and also to the devotees to sit. Now there is a carpet well laid and bolsters kept around, and one devotee just asks Sri Ramakrishna, please use this bolster, lean upon it. And Sri Ramakrishna says, leaning against a bolster. Now through these small gestures also Sri Ramakrishna teaches us. Sri Ramakrishna says, leaning against a bolster, reclining against a bolster, all these kind of practices, they inflate your ego. They are the practices which makes you think, oh, I am so and so. And with great pride, with great arrogance, you recline against a bolster. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, our ego is so dangerous. It can, even if you think you have killed the ego, it will spring up somewhere. Just if somebody has not offered you a bolster to lean upon, you will feel, oh, I have not been provided with a bolster. How can I sit properly? How can I sit without reclining against anything? And your ego shoots up. Sri Ramakrishna says, be aware of such practices. Such a small instance, such a small gesture. But Sri Ramakrishna teaches us through these small gestures also. And then he had given that example of how ego can never leave us. He gave the example of in spite of goat being culled, in spite of goat's head being cut, the legs keep on jerking and shivering and shaking. So that is like the ego is like that. Although you feel I have killed the ego, you don't know from where it crops up suddenly. And then you start feeling, oh, I have not been paid due respect. And then Sri Ramakrishna also gave example of our getting frightened in a dream. We get frightened in a dream. We wake up shaking and shivering, and heart is palpitating. Heart is running at such a high speed. We get up. Now we are no more in the dream state, but still our perspiration, our heartbeat is still the same high. We have not come out of that grip of the frightful dream. Although we are awake, so Sri Ramakrishna says, although we keep on saying, I have killed ego, I have destroyed ego, it doesn't, the ego never lets you go off. So Sri Ramakrishna says, always beware of even such small practices, small gestures, small manners. And at this talk of Sri Ramakrishna, his another beloved disciple Kedar, who had come here. Now he comments on Sri Ramakrishna's teaching that one should be lowlier than a straw and patient like a tree. That should be one's attitude. Be lowly, be humble. And Sri Ramakrishna says, as for my attitude, I consider myself as a speck of the dust of the devotee's feet. See, the Lord incarnate saying, I consider myself as the speck of the dust of the devotee's feet. I am no one. I am just a mother's child. I am just the servant of the master. I am nowhere, just the dust of the speck of. That should be the attitude. That should be the humbleness. That should be the humility. Now, with this kind of introductory teaching over a small gesture of reclining against a bolster, now all the devotees have come, and a relative of Surendra by name Vaidyanath, he arrives. Vaidyanath is a lawyer in Calcutta High Court, a well-educated man, but also he's a great devotee. He has that inclination for spiritual enlightenment. So he comes, offers salutations to Sri Ramakrishna and takes his seat. Surendra introduces him to Sri Ramakrishna saying, he is my relative. Sri Ramakrishna looks at him and he says, he's a nice man. The moment Sri Ramakrishna sees anyone, his deep penetrating sight judges the person. How is the spiritual fervor in this person? And Sri Ramakrishna is extremely happy to see that this person, this Vaidyanath, he is a very nice person because he has got that spiritual inclination in him. And then talking to him, Sri Ramakrishna, he opens the talk on a context that how all the people, all the beings in creation are created by God. God manifests through all the beings, but his manifestation in all the beings has a different power. In some people, the power is manifested in a great manner. In some people, it is very low power, minuscule power. But God is there manifesting in each and every being. And that's why we see some people doing wonderful things to help others, to do good to others in a selfless spirit. And there are some people who are doing nothing but wicked and evil things. So Sri Ramakrishna now takes this point as the introductory talk with this wonderful devotee Vaidyanath. Sri Ramakrishna says, all that you see is the manifestation of God's power. No one can do anything without this power. But you must remember that there is not an equal manifestation of God's power in all things. God's power varies in all the beings. In some people, it is extremely high. In some people, it is extremely low. And that's why we see the difference between the people and people and people and people. That's why we see this difference between all the people engaged in different kind of activities. Some doing extremely good, some doing okay kind of good, some doing just good, some doing just bad, some doing extremely bad, extremely evil. So this is how Sri Ramakrishna says God manifests in all beings, but with varying degrees of the power exhibited in all the beings. And then Sri Ramakrishna told Vaidyanath about his visit to Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. And then he said, Vidyasagar actually asked us. Vidyasagar once asked me whether God endowed some with greater power than others. I said to him, if there are no greater and lesser manifestations of his power, then why have we taken trouble to come and visit you? Because God has manifested greater power in you, we have come to visit you. We have come to talk to you. We have come to discuss with you. We have come here to communicate with you, exchange our words with you. And we are so delighted because God has given greater power of manifestation in you. Is it that you have grown two horns? Sri Ramakrishna asked Vidyasagar. Is it that you have grown two horns that we have come to see you? No. God has given greater power that he is manifesting in you. So it stands to reason that God exists in all beings as the all-pervasive power, but the manifestations of his power are different in different beings. Possibly Sri Ramakrishna wanted to give a hint to Vaidyanath that God is manifesting in you in a higher degree. Definitely he is manifesting in you in a higher degree because you have got that spiritual inclination. You have got that kind of attitude to seek the enlightenment. You have got into this stage of mumukshu. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna initiated the talk. Now, Vaidyanath had some questions to ask to Sri Ramakrishna, and Surendra, while introducing Vaidyanath to Sri Ramakrishna, had told him that he is my relative and he has come here to meet you because he wants to ask you a question or two. So he had some doubts. All mumukshus always have a doubt. What is right, what is wrong? Because they have that power of discrimination. So whenever that power of discrimination, it gets manifested in the seekers, in the mumukshus, they get into this doubt, and they seek the guidance from some authority on this subject. And here in this gathering, who is the best authority than Sri Ramakrishna himself? So Vaidyanath has some questions for Sri Ramakrishna. He says, "Sir, I have a doubt. People speak of free will. They say that a man can do either good or evil according to his will. Is it true? Are we really free to do whatever we like?" Now, this is a typical question, typical doubt, typical dilemma that all the seekers of liberation, they get into. Do we have a free will? And Sri Ramakrishna has got a very clear-cut answer, no mincing with the words. Sri Ramakrishna says, everything depends on the will of God. There is nothing called as free will. Don't ever have that doubt. Everything depends on the will of God. The world is His play. He has created all the different things, the great and small, strong and weak, good and bad, virtuous and vicious. All these dualities God has created through His will. And all these dualities, the good people, the bad people, the good creatures, the bad creatures, the holy creatures, the unholy creatures, the virtuous creatures, the vicious creatures, good and bad, all they think they are doing as per their will. No, there is nothing as a free will for the creatures is concerned. There is nothing a will of the creatures. It is all the will of God. He has created all this. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, this is all His Maya. This is all His sport. You must have observed that all the trees in a garden are not of the same kind. When we go to any garden, any park, there are so many trees over there. There are so many, and they are all of a different nature. Some trees are huge, tall, some trees just small, some trees kind of herbs, shrubs, and some are just, they are put on the boundary like a hedge. So Sri Ramakrishna says, when you go to the garden, you don't see all the trees, equally, the same trees of the same size, of the same girth, of the same, even their colors are different, the greenness of the leaves are different. Everything is different and everything is created by the will of the Lord, Sri Ramakrishna says. As long as a man has not realized God, he thinks he's free. The ignorant people, people who are ignorant, they feel okay, they have a free will. But the moment one realizes God, one realizes there is nothing called as a free will. There is nothing called as my own will. Once you get that realization of God, you know that it is His will which is prevailing. And then Sri Ramakrishna says that it is God Himself who keeps this error in man, that he is free. This is the error that God has created in man. And Sri Ramakrishna says, in a way, it is good. It is good that this error God has created in a man. Otherwise, sin would have multiplied. Man would not have been afraid of sin, and there would have been no punishment for it. So Sri Ramakrishna says, this is the God's creation. This is the God's creation. He has willed things to go this way. If really things were going as per the free will of the man, then things would have gone haywire. Had the free will of the man been given to him, oh, you do whatever you want, this place would have been the most vicious place, Sri Ramakrishna says. No sin in this world would have been kept undone. Everything the man in his free will would have done it. Everything under the, which is called as sin under the sun, the man would have done it had he had his free will. This error, God has purposely left it there. He thinks he has a free will, but he can't do anything of his own. Sri Ramakrishna says, ultimately, it is all the will of the Lord. So that is the first point that Sri Ramakrishna has categorically answered. Is there a free will? definitely no free will. It is all the will of God. And then Sri Ram to Vaidyanath, Sri Ramakrishna just asks that it is not good to argue. But you know the attitude of one who has realized God. One who has realized God, Sri Ramakrishna says, he has understood there is nothing called as free will. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, you know, one who has realized God, how he starts thinking, how he starts behaving, how he starts feeling. He feels, I am the machine, thou, O Lord, are the operator. Then that self-importance just vanishes. Then there is no free will. He realizes, I am the machine, you are the operator. I am the house, you are the indweller. Because of you, this house is there intact. Once you decide to crumble this house is nowhere then. I am the house, you are the indweller. I am the chariot, you are the driver. I move as thou movest me. I speak as thou makest me speak. That becomes the attitude of I become the child of the mother. And then one realizes, oh, I do not have any free will at all. It is all my mother's will. It is all my master's will. It is all the will of my Lord. That is moving me. I am not moving at all. That is making me speak. I am not speaking at all. So this is the attitude that a realized soul gets once he has the God realization. And then to Vaidyanath, Sri Ramakrishna asks a question. Gives a comment. It is not good to argue. Isn't that so? Sri Ramakrishna says, it is not good to argue. Arguments, they don't lead us anywhere forward. Arguments are non-conclusive. You keep on arguing for the sake of argument. So Sri Ramakrishna asks him, it is not good to argue, isn't it? And Vaidyanath says, yes, sir. The desire to argue disappears when a man attains wisdom. So Vaidyanath concurs with the words of Sri Ramakrishna that all the desire to argue, then there is no disagreement. What you will argue upon? Once you get that realization, there is no disagreement over anything in this world. Once you don't have disagreement with anybody, then with whom will you argue? Vaidyanath says. And Sri Ramakrishna knew a few English words, and the moment Vaidyanath said this, yes sir, the desire to argue disappears when a man attains wisdom. Sri Ramakrishna, out of his stock of a dozen English words, he said, thank you, thank you, thank you, in most charming way. And everybody laughed at this gesture of Sri Ramakrishna appreciating the comment of Sri Vaidyanath. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji.